My name's Heather Rudnick and I am a registered dietitian with Lakeland Health. Today I'm going to be preparing a super easy kale salad that you can throw together in a matter of minutes with only a few simple ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen. All you need for this recipe is some sort of oil. I like to use olive oil or canola oil. A vinegar. For this recipe I would recommend using a rice vinegar or an apple cider vinegar. A little bit of honey, some Dijon mustard, a little bit of black pepper and salt, kale, and an onion. And then for a nice fruit, you can use an apple. So the first thing you need to do after washing your kale is to remove the leaves from the stem. So this is what the kale looks like, and there are two different ways that you can easily and quickly remove the leaves from the stem. The first is to use a claw hand motion by stripping the leaves like so. The second way to do it is to take your kale and fold the leaf over the stem like so, and then you can simply tear it from the stem. And I would do this technique using a leaf that might have a thinner stem and might not hold up too well to the claw technique, but you can use either one. So the next step is to take the leaves that you've removed from the stem and stack them. After you've got a nice stack going on, the next thing to do is to roll them together in a scroll type shape. So now what you do is you take your knife and you start cutting them into 1/4 inch strips. And then if you like, you can make them smaller pieces by just giving them another cut down the middle. And that's how you prepare the kale for this salad. The next step is to dice up an apple. For this recipe, I used a Gala apple, but you can use pretty much whatever you have on hand. The first thing you do is to cut off the sides, making sure that you avoid the core, which has seeds, which will not taste so good in your dish. If you get a little bit of the core inside the sides that you've sliced off, that's fine. They're pretty easy to remove once you get going. Okay, so now that we've got our slices, all we do is make 1/4 inch slices or a 1/2 inch slice, depending on how big you want it. Then you turn it around and just give it a quick dice. Just making sure that you always have a flat side of the apple to work on so it's not moving around or rolling around on you, so you can safely dice it. The next step is to dice up an onion. The first thing to do is to cut off the end, not the root end. We want to keep that end intact. So now that we've got the end off, what we want to do is peel away this tough outer skin. And that's easy. Now that we've cut the end off, you can just quickly make yourself a little indentation right there. And if the skin is giving you a problem, you can just peel off the next layer and it'll come off a lot easier. Leaving the root end intact will help us make sure that as we dice it, the onion stays together. And that'll make it a lot safer and easier to cut this up. So the first thing to do when you're dicing an onion with a half is to make sure that it's stable, won't roll around. And then what you do is you start making cuts, starting from the root end, going to the cut end. Making sure that you don't cut all the way through the root end, because that is what's going to keep the onion together. Once you've done that, just turn it around and start making cuts the other way. What I like to use for this dish is the red onion, but you could also use a yellow or a white onion. Just keep in mind that the yellow and the red onions are a lot milder than the white ones. So now all that is left to do is to make the dressing. First, you need your olive oil or canola oil. And then all you need is 3 tablespoons and 3 tablespoons of cider vinegar or rice vinegar, a tablespoon and a half of honey, and you can reduce the amount of honey you use. It's all up to your personal preference. I like to use a tablespoon and a half because I feel like the sweetness from the honey kind of counteracts the bitterness that a lot of people pick up with the kale. And now that's all that's left is 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. And if you want to use some salt and pepper, this is the stage that you would add it in. And again, this is up to your personal preference. If you're trying to reduce your sodium intake, then you can use a lot less than I do for the salt, or you can even eliminate it completely. I just like to give it a few shakes, not too much. Then you just mix it together until it's nice and mixed. Because this has some oil and vinegar in it, it won't stay together for very long. So once you've got this mixed, you've got to move quick and toss it with your kale, your onions, and your apple. So now all you have to do is mix your kale in with your apples and onions. I'll just toss it straight in there. Okay, and then add your dressing and mix well. Okay, and you can use serving utensils to toss this together, or you can put gloves on. Because this is a ready-to-eat food, we don't want to have any bare hand contact with the salad. So for safety's sake, use either a big serving spoon and fork or just the gloves. Either works. And there you have it, a quick, easy, inexpensive recipe using kale, apples, and onions, and a few ingredients you probably already have in your pantry to make a nice, easy dressing. This dish goes really well with a side of grilled chicken, and it's excellent for any sort of party you might be having, whether it's a potluck or a picnic. Enjoy!